Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our call with Sophia. And this is the final module for 2019, and it feels like, look, in some ways, Sophia draws things together in a way that not many of the other goddesses can do. She has this incredible capacity to hold the vision of our purpose for us and help us to really hold ourselves in her light and in her embrace and in her vibration to really fulfill our purpose. So Sophia is the goddess of wisdom, the Greek goddess of wisdom, and she essentially is in each of the different epochs. Hi, Lachelle. Hi. Just talking about Sophia. So Sophia has had many incarnations according to the different epochs. Say, for instance, with the Egyptians, the story of Sophia is essentially the story of Isis. You know, Isis is Sophia for the Egyptians. And the Egyptians, their consciousness was at a certain stage. You know, obviously the consciousness of an Egyptian 10,000 years ago is very different from our consciousness now. We know we've changed. We know the way we see, feel, interact with the world is different. And just checking my sound. And so the Egyptian version of Sophia is Isis. And Isis has a particular quality of helping hold the vision for your soul evolution, your soul journey. And then Sophia, being a Greek goddess, really helped hold the birthing of soul wisdom through the intellect with the Greeks. You know, her wisdom was allowed to be really fully explored in the light of the intellect. And then really, I would say the goddess, well, she's not even a goddess, the divine feminine being who holds the vision for this era that we are in is really Mother Mary. And Mother Mary is Isis Sophia. She holds this sort of, she is the container, the chalice, the womb of wisdom. So it's this idea that within the womb of Isis and the womb of Sophia and the womb of Mary is birthed a being, quite literally a being, that can redeem the world. So Isis birthed Horus, Mary birthed the Christ. And this is a being that can redeem the world each time. But what has happened to Sophia is that she's been killed. She's literally been killed off. And what that means is that when we look out to the stars, or when we see how nature grows, when we look at the biology of plants, and if we just see the mechanical movements, if we look at the waves, you know, kids in school get taught that the wind blows over the water and the waves move, and the moon, you know, like creates gravity and currents and tides happen. If we just look at nature and the science of nature through the mechanical natural laws, then Sophia is dead. Isis is dead. The vision, that spiritual womb of spiritual intelligence is dead. Now, it's a little grim to say it like that, but when we look out at the planets, and so there was a beautiful shot someone put in of the alignment of, was it Jupiter and Venus and the moon? And when we look out at the world, the ocean, the stars, and when we actually have a sense that there is a color streaming from Jupiter. There is a color and a song and a sound streaming from Venus. There is a color and a vibration and a frequency streaming in towards us from the moon. We look down at the rocks, the sandstone, and there are this vibration and this song streaming towards us from the sandstone, from every plant. There is a song, there is literally a spiritual force, a spiritual intelligence in everything in nature, in everything that is our universe. That is Sophia. Sophia is the wisdom that says there is a spiritual light, a spiritual intelligence that penetrates and animates everything in the material realm, everything that is matter. And without Sophia, we become robots, essentially. We will essentially become robots. AI will take over, and this sort of mechanization of humanity and the world will take place without Sophia. Now, in the Egyptian myth of Isis and Osiris, what happens is that Typhon, or Set, kills Osiris, and Isis goes hunting for the pieces, like gets put into lots of pieces, and she takes the pieces and she buries them in the earth. And what it's saying is that the myth of Isis, the wisdom of the feminine, knows how to bring the spiritual intelligence, the life force, and plant it in the earth. So Osiris was planted in the earth. The intelligence of the creator forces were placed in the earth by the feminine. So feminine wisdom allows us to see, feel, know, experience everything as spirit, our own body. She allows us to really know and experience that. But it's almost like Osiris was lost and Osiris was killed off, but it's almost like now Isis marries Sophia, has been killed off, and she's been scattered into the stars, and it's almost like she's lost. And part of our task really is to remember her wisdom, to go searching for her wisdom, and to bring it into our body and to explore our landscape, our internal landscape of our own goddess nature and our own soul intelligence, and start to say, she lives in me. She lives in this part of me. She lives in how the blood moves through my body. She lives in the fact that I can see, my eyes can even see color. She lives in the fact that I can hear and converse. And primarily, we are being taught to seek Sophia now through the heart. And in the times of the Egyptians, they were taught to seek the wisdom of Isis in the body. So the Egyptian mysteries were the mysteries of the body. And now we are into this time of the mysteries of the heart, the mysteries of love. And so everything we do is transforming wisdom into love. Wisdom into love. Everywhere we look, we say, there is Sophia. I feel her, I know her, I experience her, and now I'm going to express her as love. So you might kind of walk down a path and you walk past a tree and you can stop for a moment and you can just let yourself feel the spirit of the tree streaming towards you, and know that it's time for you to stand straight and tall and be flexible and, like graceful and rooted in the ground like a tree. And then just from that place of that strength and that wisdom, radiate more love. This is Sophia. Sophia is this living being. In every moment of every day, she gives us this opportunity to be her, to feel her, to know her, and to deeply anchor into her wisdom and express it. All right. And Lachelle, it's beautiful and it gives you a reassuring sense of purpose. Yeah. It's like there is no other task other than to feel and recognize Sophia and her wisdom which is spiritual intelligence expressed through matter, and to line that up with our soul, and what is our most deep truth. So this is the next part that I want to speak to with Sophia. And that is that, like Isis and like Mary, she is one of the goddesses who is deeply concerned with us evolving our soul nature. So the sentient soul, the experiencing soul, the will, the instinctive nature was very much alive in Egypt, in the body. Our body carries our instinctive nature. If you look at the animal realm, they instinctively, make faces, or their whole body expresses instinctively. And birds can track through them, like and butterflies can fly over thousands and thousands of miles without ever having done it before to their nesting place or this instinctive wisdom. So the instinct body, and I talked about this morning, knows how to move with all the other movements of the earth and all the other movements of all the beings in the universe. Your instinctive nature is so incredible, and it is pure Isis Sophia, this body intelligence that will tell you every single time what is right or wrong for you if you dare to listen to it that deeply. And there's a huge spiritual forgetting for us as humans at the moment. So, don't beat yourself up if you can't hear the message of your body. Do you know what I mean? It's part of our getting of wisdom is to really hear the spiritual messages of our material body again and understand our instinctive nature knows what it's doing. It knows that, say we're stuck somewhere in the body, then our body knows that there is a movement that is misaligned, that we haven't yet understood how to flow and merge with yet, okay? So there is something that we are resisting on in that instinctive level. So that's the instinctive soul nature. Our soul lives in the gut and the heart and the mind. So that instinct, intuition, and thinking. And the soul is this triple threefold being, and this part, our soul uses the senses, that body wisdom, to gather and to know and to learn and to grow. And so we can really, the feminine is so body aligned that we can really celebrate and love this part of ourselves. Your masculine will tell us to sit in our head and our mind and work from there, whereas the feminine will teach you to merge with every feeling, every sense, every intelligence of the body. That is Sophia. Sophia. Wisdom is not a god. Wisdom is a goddess. It sits with the feminine for a reason. Because it sits with the soul. And the soul moves through these three elements. So the next part of the soul that I really want to talk about, that's Sophia. Sophia was birthed with the intellect, with the Greeks. But if you look at the Greek exploration of mathematics and science and art, it was not divided or separated from spirit. It was still the gods that determined the movement of the stars. It was, even though they were mathematical formulas, it was still godlike and goddess-like. It was still completely, the spiritual essence of the world was still perceived, especially in the older Greek times, like the Iliad and the Odyssey. There was a deep understanding and seeing still. And so Sophia is this beautiful artistic intelligence of the mind, this visioning, this imagination, this inspiration, this anosophy, philosophy, theosophy, Sophia, this wisdom of the intelligence. She really helps us to keep our intelligence from being dry and spiritless, without spirit. So she keeps our thinking alive, tuning towards what is the spiritual meaning of this as well as what is the physical, practical meaning of this. And then Sophia speaks through the heart, and this is primarily where the intuition sits at this point in time. You know, our intuition sits throughout the whole feeling body, but it is this, the more we focus on, and of course, Lachelle, this is a perfect conversation of you being a teacher of the wisdom of the heart. And yeah, so really, Sophia, you will see Sophia everywhere. Lachelle, you will feel her everywhere, guiding you to transform wisdom into love, especially working with yoga, like working with those yogic traditions, which are more ancient than the Egyptians. So they come from a time where the soul was really entering into the etheric body, the energy body, and moving through the energy body. And so the cosmic, which is a cosmic body, and so this cosmic movement at the soul, the soul didn't really settle into the physical until the Egyptian epoch, supposedly. So the soul was still moving through the etheric and starting to kind of understand, how do I kind of inhabit a physical body? I stay in the energy field. And so to bring that yogic wisdom of the energy body and how it penetrates the physical and then penetrates the feeling and then the mind and the feeling is a really you're a bridge. That's your bridge in some ways too. Is like from the Vedic space where the soul was not as fully incarnated to this point that you're teaching now, which is heart wisdom. And the soul walks over that bridge through the epochs, and you can track the movements of it through the energy body, through the physical body, through the mind, and into the heart. You can really, really track that. With Sophia, like she'll absolutely help you do that with your message. She really will. Because that's her thing, it's totally her thing. Yeah, so Lachelle, that's what you were thinking when I started talking about the body telling us messages, that you learn that in yoga as well. Lovely, super exciting, yeah. So Sophia is guiding us towards understanding how to sit with our body and our feelings and our mind as a soul container, as a container for our soul and our soul purpose. And every single one of us has a soul purpose. Every one of us has a soul nature. And really, your soul purpose is to find out and express your absolute truth, your deepest truth. And this is discovered when we feel it, know it, sense it, that whole experience, all the clairs, the seeing, the knowing, the hearing, the sensing, when we actually know from that full place that, yeah, this is my truth. It's landed. I can feel it. It's dropped in. And the lovely thing about Sophia is that she leaves these pockets of wisdom everywhere. It's like our life is a treasure hunt with Sophia. Yeah, total embodiment. So the journey with Sophia, the human journey with Sophia, is like this little treasure hunt where you suddenly bump into someone and you have a conversation, and then this little gem of wisdom and it drops in and your container is expanded. And then you'll read a book and it has more wisdom in it and it drops in, and your container for your soul is expanded and your purpose is expanded. And this is what our life is. It's this gradual boom, 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 just little expansions of more and more and more and more and more wisdom. And as long as we are not just accumulating that wisdom with our mind and storing it in, the filing cabinet, as long as we are actually starting to move it through our actions, through our voice, through our heart, and really starting to live it, not just understand it, but to live it, then Sophia can do her work. Because Sophia is wisdom in matter, spiritual wisdom expressed through matter. So we, the material part of ourselves, it needs to, I guess, make room for our individualized spirit, which is our soul. You know, the soul is the little part of you that's got individual and is really going on an individual expression journey. That, yeah, your whole material universe, the universe that you are, makes room for your soul more and more and more. Now, the thing about the feminine, okay, I better check if there's any questions. So just ask me if there's any questions. And then I'll add this next piece about the feminine and the goddesses. Anyway, if you think of something, ask away. So the thing about the feminine is the feminine naturally, she kind of is a response to the cosmos. So the feminine sees a beautiful flower or hears a beautiful melody, or and this is the feminine nature in all of us, okay, not just women and men. This is the, you know, we both have masculine and feminine within us. The feminine within us opens to cosmic experience, opens to ritual, likes to receive from the cosmos. And there are many, 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 many millions of cosmoses, in the same way that there are so many galaxies. And wisdom is a cosmos. Wisdom is a cosmos where spiritual intelligence is birthed through matter. So we're part of the cosmos of wisdom because we are spiritual intelligences or spiritual beings who do their thing through matter. Do their thing. Sorry, not very sophisticated. And so that's our journey. You know, there are other beings out there who don't need to go through matter to move to enlightenment. You know, they might just move through warmth to achieve enlightenment. They might move through light to achieve enlightenment. You know, but we're these beings who are moving through matter to transform the matter, wisdom, into love, and ultimately from love into kind of just pure light, through that journey. And the soul is the vehicle for this. So your soul is this individualized connection to source, the creator, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Your soul doesn't need all the cosmic options. It doesn't need everything. It just needs what is relevant to it to do this lifetime. And each lifetime, your soul brings another piece in to, you know, to have that experience, to have that purpose fulfilled. And it builds these pieces into this beautiful spiritual blueprint. And by the time you get there, you're enlightened, supposedly. And because the feminine in us likes to just open up to cosmic whatever, just, you know, like bring it on, baby. It has a tendency to unground us for a start and to disembody us as well, but also to lead us off into some cosmic realm that, or piece of information, piece of intelligence that doesn't actually necessarily suit us and our soul journey. So when we are working with spirit or the goddesses or frequency or any sort of cosmic wisdom, any sort of spiritual process, really energetic process actually even, we want to make sure that we are completely checking in that it's always relevant to our individual soul purpose. And for this, Sophia is fantastic. She's just fantastic because she is the body of all wisdom. She is that mother of wisdom, the mother of all spiritual intelligence that can move through matter. And she is interested in helping humans do their soul journey thing. Again, not very sophisticated language, sorry. Tell me if it makes sense though. So Sophia is this incredible guide, and we've moved through all these sort of different goddesses, and we've been looking at, I guess, I've been gradually, gently leading us closer and closer and closer to this idea that everything we do has to be soul aligned. Everything we do. And Sophia holds us in that space. And she is the one that offers us the right wisdom pieces for us. So you can always ask her to say, oh, Sophia, will you show me the wisdom that is right for me? Will you show me the wisdom that is aligned? All right, so am I saying that Sophia helps us understand whether certain types of energy work, for example, are better for our soul purpose? Absolutely. In the same way that if you ask that question of your spirit guide will tell you, Sophia will tell you too. Because she works with this alignment. She's a goddess that wants to align you with the wisdom that is true for you. Now, I would always put in the caveat that you actually keep checking in with your soul first. All right, you keep, so Sophia takes you into an experience of feeling all the wisdom pieces that are possible. And then she will show you the one that is right for you. So she expands us to feel, it is very relaxing actually, like this morning I was saying, I'm so relaxed. So she expands us and she helps the mind relax enough that we can actually start to feel the movements of wisdom and intelligence and intuition and instinct and thinking through our full system. And once we start to relax enough to feel the movements, that's when we can start to actually say, well, what is right for me? And so when it comes to our message, if we actually place our message in there and our vision, we can get some beautiful wisdom about how to share your message with love, how to share your message with more depth, how to share your message with more truth, because truth and wisdom are, they go hand in hand. So she has a huge capacity. Yawning your head off tonight, yes. So when would we ask that of Sophia as opposed to our spirit guide? All right, so I think that this is to do with the goddess, the nature of the goddess. I think that Sophia holds the divine evolutionary purpose of humanity. And the thing about Sophia is that she really is lost at the moment. And so you can stay with your spirit guide and asking your spirit guide, but when you call in Sophia, you are actually doing a service for humanity. You are doing the work of returning and rebirthing the mystery of the feminine in the earth. Okay. And there's a sort of level of purpose that I think for women, there is this greater purpose that Sophia holds. Like every one of us has a very individual, this is my purpose, but there is also this collective journey of healing Sophia and returning Sophia and returning people's ability to see spirit. Like to see the spiritual, see and experience the spiritual forces in the material world. So your spirit guide might not necessarily be particularly concerned with that. And Sophia will always guide you to actually, it's almost like it's like a world service for the feminine when we work with Sophia. We're actually remembering her. We're calling her in. We're saying, yes, you exist. Yes, I choose to acknowledge you. I choose to see you. I choose to honor you. I choose to say yes to spirit in matter. So yeah, it's it's almost like she needs us. Rather than us needing her, we do need her, but she needs us as much as we need her at the moment. Because humanity needs to remember. Humanity needs to remember that we are not machines. And that once upon a time we could see fairies. We could see the forces, like Van Gogh's swirls. I always think of that, that we could see those etheric movements in the air. We could see the chlorophyll and the sun forces in the earth when we looked down into the earth. Those standing stones. We could see the sun moving through those acupuncture stones into the earth. So this is more like a human service. Does that make sense, Lachelle? Yeah. Because when we're with our spirit guide, we'll say, what's this for me? Let me feel my light, da, da, da. When we're with Sophia, we actually remember that humanity is, humans are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. So your spirit guide isn't necessarily going to chat to you about that. Whereas Sophia will just place you right in that incredible evolutionary journey and connect you into this huge body of wisdom and help us remember. So let's meet Sophia. And yes. Ooh, I do have one more thing that I would love to add to that, Lachelle, just very quickly. And that is that the world is out of balance, and that it is actually important for us to spend time with the goddesses. Because the whole world has forgotten about wisdom. Yeah. Just dropping in and relaxing. And just feeling your heart and the expansion that is available to you. And we call in the four archangels, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, to hold the corners of the space in love and integrity and divine wisdom. We ask that Sophia join us. We slowly anchor ourselves into our own place in nature, our sacred grove or our healing temple. And just imagine that all the colors of the universe are streaming towards you. There is no such thing as white light. There is color, a world of color and tones. This is David Chan. Just absorb those colors. Sophia sounds and speaks through every single color ray. The goddess enters. She is Cosmic Mother, Earth Mother, Triple Goddess, Heart Mother, Wisdom Mother. She embraces and envelops all goddesses. And she holds you in her arms. And gently she anoints you. She anoints your forehead, the crown of your head, your throat, your higher heart, your heart, your breasts, your belly. And she draws a circle and spiral of the goddess over your womb space. And she kisses it. And she anoints your perineum, your knees, and your feet. She's going to sing over you, sing the awakening, sing the wisdom that you need to experience. She's going to sing it into your body. ask your question. Sophia, Sophia, Goddess of Wisdom, show me the wisdom that I need to speak. I need to know, that I need to express. Show me the pathway. And she puts out her hand and she touches your body. And she starts to gently, gently stroke, almost as if she is clearing away layers, peeling off rusty old layers, softly sweeping and brushing, smoothing away. And as she does so, there is this light that starts to radiate out from underneath the layer that she is clearing away. So much light. Just keep clearing, watching her hands, clearing and clearing over your shoulders, over your chest and your belly, over your face, over your head and the back of your neck, down your arms, and your hands and your elbows, over your hips, over your back, brushing, sweeping, clearing, and the light shining, shining down your legs, sweeping and brushing away, over your knees and your shins and your calves and your ankles and your feet. You are like this shiny, shiny piece of light. So many colors, so radiant. And just watch now what she does. Just sit with it. Perhaps there are going to be layers of feeling that come through, fear or doubt. Just let them move to the surface and then drift away. Out of the great depths of the ocean, you see her rising, a mighty goddess. Out of the trees, you see her rising, a mighty goddess. From the stars, you see her streaming down, a mighty goddess. Swirling with the planets, you see her moving, a mighty goddess. In the stones of the land and the mountains, you see her falling and rising, a mighty goddess. Breathe with her. Breathe with her. You know everything that you need to know. You are everything that you need to be. Once more she touches your forehead. She's just going to send you a picture to your third eye, so just receive that picture. And she touches your heart, and she's sending a message of wisdom to your heart. Now she touches over your womb space, your belly really. She places both hands and she places her lips and her mouth to your belly and she whispers. She whispers words of wisdom. And she sweeps her hands over you, and it's almost like showers of light fall upon you. Feel yourself just dusted in light, gold and green and pink, blues and purples. Just feel yourself being filled with these rays of light. And slowly, slowly, the goddess places her hands together at her chest and bows. And you bow in return and give thanks. Sophia, thank you. Thank you for your divine presence. And she shows you the sun streaming down upon the earth, spirit meeting matter. And she shows you the dance of the people of the world on the earth, and how, if they only looked, what miracles they would see. And she says, walk with this holiness, walk with this light, walk with the knowledge that you are a goddess. You are wisdom. Be peaceful, be radiant. And slowly she steps away. And you surround yourself in your own white light to keep yourself in integrity and a sense of containment and love. Blessings and blessings. We give thanks to the four archangels, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, for your presence here and your guidance. We give thanks to our spirit guides and our source connection to the divine. We give thanks for one another in this space of love and caring. So shall it be. Gradually close down your temple. When you're ready, come back to your body. Shift, move around, wriggle your toes, feel your feet. That was really different from this morning. uh, does anyone want to chat and share? You don't have to, but you're very welcome to just unmute yourself if you do want to.
Sure, I will.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. That was hard to stay awake.
I know, that's what everyone was having this morning. It was like, oh, I just want to bliss out and drift off. Yep.
Yeah, I was like trying to stay upright, and I could just feel my body like it would go just a little too far. Oh, back to center. But it was very beautiful though. Like for me, it was she had a very like crystalline color almost. Like, I mean, it was like a white, but almost like icy, but still like a very warming icy color, if that makes any sense. But it was also kind of strange too, because as I felt her color around me, like my shoulder just started hurting even more.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing I've been going through lots of I think I'm getting into some really deep healing layers, and so I'm guessing it's linked to that. Also because I did a meditation this morning where I only felt it on my right side, and anyway, so it was beautiful, but I didn't really see. I'll have to do it again, I think, because I didn't see any particular like images, or I mean, you said something about seeing something in the third eye, and I didn't really. It was a very vague. It wasn't very clear for me. So.
Yeah, I've been thinking about your shoulder, and I mean, do you have a sense as so there's a lot of kind of there's a real it's the pain, it's like a thing, isn't it? It has such a quality of identity to it.
Well, like, I mean, I keep asking in different meditations, like, what is it that I'm supposed to know to release this? And like, I'm just not ready to hear it, or I don't know. Someone suggested it might be like healing past life stuff too. I don't know.
That's what was coming through to me, that it's a past life story, and that yeah, it's like almost like that story has to play out somehow. Oh, it's not always comfortable, is it? You know, these things are not always comfortable.
Yeah.
And to sit with pain for a long time, like years, is really challenging,
I
deeply
think
challenging.
I think it's very ancestral as well. So, I mean, maybe it is just past life related to me, but I think it also has something to do with with the family line as well. Because just knowing where I have that pain and where it corresponds to the spine, my brother has a spinal tumor that's right around that same area. Rosie, it is like like Linda told me, it was like she saw us an arrow that was a black arrow that was lodged in my shoulder.
Mm. The Sophia definitely will bring up lineage healing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing that she can do because, you know, certain wisdoms, certain genetic wisdom is passed down through the DNA. And of course, what is the spiritual story of DNA? You know, that is in there, those inherited spiritual stories. And I also wonder, you know, I had a really interesting conversation today with someone about um, that Steiner talks about Kali Yuga, which is those big 26,000 year cycles of dark and light in the Vedic system, finishing in 1899. And we had this really interesting conversation about, you know, your father's father's father. This was the masculine line for me, on behalf of my boys, who actually, oh, I won't say it on this, but anyway, um, the that I had this thought when I was tuning in with Sophia that at the end of Kali Yuga, 1899, not long after that, we had the First World War and then, you know, the Second World War. And I just wonder if there, as soon as that darkness was lifted and a new sort of era, the age of Michael, was kind of initiated. We're in the age of Michael. And Michael, of course, you know, is the warrior. Then I just had this really strong sense that there are certain wounds that arose in the lineage at that time, you know, so that'd be what our great great grandfathers or great great grandmothers, and there are certain wounds in the lineage that arose at that time that were that have been passed down through those wars that are, you know, that those of us in this generation, we're the ones that are meant to heal them.
Mm.
You know, we're actually we're going on this healing journey that is a collective consciousness journey. So a lot of us are doing ancestral work.
Yeah.
You know, like that's why I'm starting with it next year. It's like because it's, you know, it was made very clear to me that we kind of have to start with cleaning up some of the lineage stuff. And then we can really step into the power space with the warrior goddesses. But you can't step into the warrior space if you're wounded. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you got to clean some stuff up first so that you're almost like a healthy warrior.
Yeah. I was explaining this to I was talking with a friend the other day, and somehow, like, I think some of the greatest illustrations that I come up with just come without me even thinking about them. I just like started saying to a friend that we were talking about the shoulder and like dealing with family stuff, and I was like, you know, it's the healing comes in cycles. So it's like we start with these little circles, and once we've finished a cycle, it's like, okay, maybe we're ready for that next layer. So it's a little deeper. And each layer just becomes a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. But essentially, like that circle is spiraling out and it's getting bigger and bigger. And so it's allowing a greater space for us to actually hold, to shine that light in. And like that's, I feel is very similar to what you're saying in the
Yeah.
sense.
And you
Yeah,
could also,
we have this space to heal all of this other stuff. Like we're in a place now where we can actually start to look at some of the deeper layers and
yes,
for the line.
yeah, yeah. We don't have to do the surface stuff because we're not as distracted by, fetching water from the well kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, you could also ask Trina, like book a healing with Trina. She's fantastic at the. To me, it feels like there's a little bit of entity stuff around that. So
Yeah,
she's
I've got
really,
one
really
booked with her in January.
excellent. Okay, yeah, talk to her about that. Good. Right, you'll be fine then. Your shoulder will yeah, there'll be a lot that shifts after that. Good. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Sophia, we'll be going on a journey with Sophia for the next 3 weeks, and I'll be popping in to do Facebook Lives when I feel like we need a top up. And I'll also pop in a workbook at some point this week to start really doing a little bit more of the message to the world. Because, yeah, she allows us to share, open the gates to share our wisdom. Yeah, wisdom has a loud voice. But the Bible really tells us that. She's there on the hilltops yelling. She's there at the gates, city gates, yelling. She's going, ah, 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 like, that's very undignified. But yeah, big voice. Rosie, you're getting a lot about the stones the last couple of weeks. Beautiful. And, stone is, always has been. So a lot of wisdom in the stone realm. Beautiful. Keeper of the stones. Oh, oh, yes. Well, you're going to end up with a new stone circle, Rosie, somewhere.
I will.
Yeah, you will. Alrighty, I'm going. And thank you both very much for being on the call. And it's been lovely to share this with you. And Sophia, let's enjoy her light and fall asleep when we need to.
Thank you.
Bye.